football fans, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 14 in the league where they play for pay. Great to be back with you. The best audience in all of YouTube is right here as we roll into week 14. Remember, after today, only 2 more shows. I'm only doing through week 16 this year. So let's close this year in style. Let's keep picking those winners. Let's get right to it. Week 14, pick number 1. Let's go to the Big D in Dallas, Jerry's World, with the Dallas Cowboys on minus 17 against the Houston Texans. Dallas up to 9-3, just bamboozled Indianapolis. What did Dallas score? 33 points in the fourth quarter, scored over 50 for the game. Dallas looks like a legitimate contender out of the NFC to possibly make the Super Bowl. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, the Houston Texans. They're 1-10-1. They're looking at the number 1 pick. They need the number 1 pick. They lose to Cleveland, despite the Browns and Watson not scoring an offensive touchdown. Texans handed them 3 touchdowns. Punt return for a touchdown where the Texans missed, a billion tackles. Kyle Allen throws a miserable pass that's run back for a touchdown. And then Kyle Allen, again, doing a quarterback sneak out of his own end zone, fumbles the ball, and the Browns waltz in. Nice job, Texans. Kyle Allen was miserable in this game. And I didn't expect a lot from him or the Texan offense, but it was even worse than I thought. Have the Texans been over 20 points in the last 2 months? And Lovie Smith has done a downright atrocious job with this team, especially the offense. As far as this particular game, take Dallas any way you want. 4-team teaser, super teaser, 3-team teaser, however way you want. Dallas is going to, roll in this game. This is a blowout. This game's over by halftime. This is a 56-7 game. The Texans cannot keep up with Dallas. They can't score. It's a major blowout. Pick Dallas any way you want. That's pick number 1. Oh yeah, how about them Cowboys? Pick number 2. Let's go up to Buffalo. Good division game here with the Buffalo Bills a minus 9.5 against the New York Football Jets. Buffalo up to 9-3, beat New England on Thursday Night Football, and they looked a lot better in that game. And with Kansas City's loss, the top record in the AFC as of now, the Buffalo Bills. Jets down to 7-5, had a heartbreaking loss to Minnesota. They were down big in this game, came all the way back. The story of this game, the Jets were in the red zone 8 different times and scored 1 touchdown. 5 field goals. They get stopped at the goal line once where they drop a pass, which could have been caught. Tough catch, but could have been caught. They get stopped at the end of the game deep in Viking territory. The only touchdown the Jets had was on a 4th down quarterback sneak, which they had to review. So the Jets had 8 chances to get in the end zone and only did it once. Heartbreaking loss for the Jets. Typical Vikings. We'll get to them later. Heartbreaking loss for the Jets because they came all the way back and had multiple chances to take the lead in this game. What did Mike White throw the ball for, like 60 times in this game? Let's see Mike White the rest of the year. Zach Wilson, I don't like him at all. Sit him on the bench. Let's see what you get from Mike White. I'm not a total believer in him either, but right now he deserves that opportunity. So Buffalo at home, minus 9.5 against the Jets. Listen, I'm going to move it to 15.5 and take the Jets. 15.5 is too much for me to pass up. Too much. And the Jets now are showing you that they are at least a good football team. Still got to work out some things, but they're starting to put the pieces together. They really are. So 15.5 to me in the division game with 2, teams with winning records here, I'm going to take the Jets with the 15.5 to at least hang around in this game. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go to the Steel City in Pittsburgh with the Baltimore Ravens a minus 4.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this was the early line that I got yesterday. Jackson, I think, with the sprained knee is going to be out, so this line might have changed, but that's what I wrote down, Baltimore 4.5 in Pittsburgh. This is before the Jackson injury, and they ruled him out. Baltimore up to 8-4, barely beat Denver without Jackson. Had to go on that, last-minute drive, picked up a 4th down, scored right at the end, and went 10-9 against Denver. So I don't know how long Jackson's going to be out. They say it's not season-ending, but we'll keep an eye on that. So Baltimore barely won. Pittsburgh, they're up to 5-7, beat Atlanta. They've won 2 in a row. They've looked better recently. Pickett looks pretty good. Looks like he's improving. Definitely looks like he has some possibilities. I'm going to move it to 10.5 and take the Steelers. Like I said, I don't know the exact line on this game with the Jackson injury, but you know the history with these two teams. The games are always close. They're always a field goal. Throw out the records. It's a field goal game either way. So I'll take the Steelers with the 10.5. I'm sure it's less than that now if Jackson's going to be out. The game is a field goal game either way with these teams all the time. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go to the jungle in Cincinnati with the Cincinnati Bengals on -6 against the Cleveland Browns. Bengals up to 8-4, beat Kansas City. That is the 3rd time recently that the Bengals have beaten the Chiefs by 3 points. And that was a tremendous game back and forth. Great win by Cincinnati. They're playing a lot better football now than they were at the beginning of the year. Burrow is the real deal. Chase is amazing. It's a good football team. Cleveland, they're up to 5-7, as I just mentioned. They beat the Texans despite not scoring an offensive touchdown. Watson looked really rusty, and that shouldn't be a surprise. Hasn't played in 2 years. Shouldn't be a surprise. Now listen, beating the Texans is one thing. Now going into the jungle and beating the Bengals is another thing. I don't think right now the Browns or Watson are good enough to go into the jungle and win, so I'm going to move it to pick them and take the Bengals. Bengals playing a lot better. Watson's rusty. I'll take my chances that the Bengals are going to win this game. That's pick number 4. Who dey? Pick number 5. Let's go to Nashville, Tennessee, with the Tennessee Titans at -3.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars down to 4-8, got bombed by Detroit. Lawrence went out of this game with an injury, but came back, and if you first saw that, you thought that was a serious injury, but he did come back in the game and play. Good to see him back in there. Tennessee, they're down to 7-5, got squashed by Philadelphia, especially in the second half. I do not like the way Tennessee's playing lately. Do not like the way their offense is playing. Nah, sloppy, ugly football. They got to do better because they're the class of that division. They're going to make the playoffs, but they have to play better if they have any hope of beating anybody in the playoffs. I think this is a game Tennessee at home and Nashville can handle. I think they can beat Jacksonville at home. I want to see something from Tennessee this week, so I'm going to pick them in the money line here. And I don't love this game, but I'm going to pick Tennessee in the money line. This is a team they can handle, and I never trust Jacksonville on the road. I just don't. So I'll take Tennessee money line. Show me something, Titans. This is a game you should win. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6. Let's go to the Motor City in Detroit. Win the Minnesota Vikings at -2 against the Detroit Lions. Lions up to 5-7, as I just mentioned. They laid it on Jacksonville. Detroit is starting to play a little better football. Goff is playing well. They got that offense going. Running back playing well. Detroit is starting to play better football. How about the Vikings again? They're up to 10-2. They beat the Jets. I feel like I watch the same Viking game every week. They win all these close games. I think they're 10-0 in games decided by 1 score or less. I think every one of their wins has been close. The 2 games they lost, they got bombed by Philly and Dallas, but every one of their wins, they've won in a close game. It could have gone either way in the 4th quarter, and they always pull it out. That's what confidence can do, and they believe they can win these games. They believe it, and they're doing it. Give them credit. I mean, in the NFL, to have 10 close games and to win them all, that's saying something. That's gritty, that's gutty. It's goal. You know how I usually do with these division games? I usually take the underdog in the points, especially if I get the home field. I'm going to move it to 8 and take the Lions. I get 8 points. I get the Lions at home who are playing better. First game was very close in Minnesota. Lions led in the 4th quarter before, again, the Vikings came back and won. And as I just mentioned, the Vikings play nothing but close games. And I'm not saying they can't win this game. Obviously they can win. But I'm sure it's going to be close like all their other games. So I'm going to move it to 8 and take Detroit. It's going to be a 1-score game either way. That's pick number 6. Skull. Pick number 7. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Not too far from where I sit here. Another good division game with the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. A -6.5 against the New York Football Giants. Giants are 7-4-1 after a tie with Washington. The Giants led this game late. Washington ties it, and I think both teams feel like they could have won in overtime. So the Giants are in a tricky spot right now. They have a tough schedule, hanging on to one of those last playoff spots. Giants are in a tough spot right now. But overall, 7-4-1, that's better than anyone thought they'd be this year. Philadelphia, 11-1, lay it on Tennessee, especially in the second half. Unbelievable job by the Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody thought they'd be 11-1 after 12 games. And Hurts looks like the real deal, and we could not have said that last year or the year before. You did not know how Hurts was going to be in the NFL. He looks like the real deal. The Eagles look like a solid, deep, well-coached team. Another team with a legitimate chance, like Dallas and the Vikings and, a few others, to get to the Super Bowl. Again, division game, I'm going to move it to 12.5 and take the Giants. I get the home field. I get 12.5 points. It's a big game. It's a monster game for the Giants as far as making the playoffs. And again, there's no disrespect to Philadelphia. I'm talking points here. I'm not talking about who's going to win. I'm talking points here. Points here. Points here. You get 12.5 points in the NFL and you get a home team that has a winning record, that's tough to pass up. So I'll go that way. And again, I'm not saying the Eagles can't win the game. Obviously they can win. I'm talking points. I'll go Giants plus 12.5 in the Meadowlands to at least keep it close. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go to the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado. It's like I got my Colorado Buffalo shirt on. As Deion Sanders, I believe, is the new coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. With the Kansas City Chiefs, a minus 8.5 against the Denver Broncos. Broncos down to 3-9. Lost to Baltimore. Couldn't score an offensive touchdown yet again. 3 field goals. How bad has the Bronco offense been this year? What a disaster for Russell Wilson. Who would have thought when the Broncos brought in Russell Wilson and gave him that huge contract that they would be 3-9 and this pathetic? Hard to believe. Kansas City, they're down to 9-3, lost a tough game to Cincinnati, and now Kansas City falls back to the 2 seed. Listen, there's no other way to go here. You move it to 2.5 and you take the Chiefs. The Chiefs off a loss, still battling for the top seed in the AFC against a Bronco team that can't move the ball to here, from here to there. They just can't move the ball. They can't score. They can't do it. Their defense plays hard, but they cannot score. Can't score. And if you can't score against the Chiefs, you have no chance. Chiefs, that's pick number 8. Pick number 9. Let's go out to San Francisco. A lot to cover here. With the San Francisco 49ers, a minus 3 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers, of course, play tonight on Monday Night Football against the Saints. Buccaneers at 5-6 in first place. Buccaneers, even if they lose tonight at 5-7, would still be in first place. Ouch! Speaking of ouch, how about the Niners? They're up to 8-4, had a quality win against Miami. Defense continues to play tremendous. But now Garoppolo goes out for the year with a broken foot. So now the Niners have lost Lance for the year and Garoppolo for the year. Here comes Purdy, the quarterback drafted out of Iowa State in the last pick of the draft. Here he comes. You think the Niners are going to fall on their face. He played well. He was poised. He was confident. They didn't change the offense for him at all. He looked really good. Now listen, I know it's only one start. And sometimes when you get thrown into the game, you don't have time to think. Now he's got a full week to think about this. He looked really good, though. I have to admit, Purdy looked pretty good. Big picture, though, it's hard to imagine the Niners going too far in the playoffs with a rookie quarterback that just got in there now. It's hard to imagine. Now, listen, they have a solid team. The defense can keep you in any game. They got the weapons now. They got McCaffrey. They have a solid team around this Purdy. But it's asking a lot to go deep into the playoffs with a lot of good teams with this young rookie. And like I said, he played well yesterday. This is an odd game because with Purdy in there, what are you going to get? I would still probably pick San Francisco in the money line just because I think their defense can do a number on Brady and that Bucs offense. But to be perfectly honest, you probably want to throw it out. I would never take Tampa in this game because I think the Niner defense can really do some things against them. And I really don't trust Purdy as much as I liked him yesterday. I got to see more from him. So to me, it's probably a throw out. I definitely wouldn't take Tampa. I guess I could see you taking the Niners still with that defense and considering how they looked yesterday with Miami when Garoppolo went out. They still look pretty good. Might be a throw out though. It's interesting to see what the Niners do the rest of the way. But that is pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go to Seattle. with the Seattle Seahawks on -4.5 against the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are coming off the bye. Seattle up to 7-5, beat the Rams, and I thought at a couple moments in this game, Seattle was going to let this game slip away. Rams actually took the lead in this game, but Seattle has the big drive late to win it. I'll tell you, Seattle didn't look great, but they got the job done. Didn't look great, but got the job done. And we know they're a much better home team. And they're home here, and they got Carolina. So this is a game Seattle can handle. This is a money line game all the way. You got to go with the Hawks at home. I don't think the Panthers are going across the country and beating Seattle. And Seattle needs this game in the worst way to keep their playoff hopes alive and the division hopes alive. You got to like Seattle at home here to play better than they did yesterday and to beat the Panthers. I like the Hawks. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11. This is the Sunday night football game. Let's go out to Los Angeles where the Miami Dolphins are -2.5 against the LA Chargers. Chargers down to 6-6, lost to Vegas. Got off to a good start in this game. Ran back an interception, but the Chargers are decimated on their offensive line. Decimated. They can't protect Herbert. They can't run the ball. Their offensive line is killing them. They have too many injuries. Too many injuries. Miami, they're down 8-4, got run over by the Niners. I was so disappointed in Miami's game yesterday. And listen, I know they had won a lot of games in a row. Maybe they were due for a loss. And the Niners are a real solid team, but I did not like the way the Dolphins played this game. They got off to a great start and got up 7-0 on the big pass. And then they kind of got pushed around the rest of the game. Snuck back in it with the Hill big play, but they just didn't look good. They got pushed around for a lot of this game. Tua didn't look crisp for a lot of the game, was missing some throws. They kind of got bullied this game. It kind of looked like the Niners, a physical team, bullied around the finesse team Miami. That's kind of what it looked like to me. I did not like what I saw from Miami at all. And then on defense, I mean, they let this young rookie quarterback, Purdy, do whatever he wants. And Dolphins, can you please cover McCaffrey? He was open all over the place. You know they're going to him. Come on. That was not a good performance by the Dolphins. And listen, they've had a nice year. I think that was Tua's first loss as a starter. They're right there for everything. I don't want to be too hard on them, but I thought they got pushed around yesterday and they didn't play well. Now they go back out to the West Coast. I wonder if they're going to stay out on the West Coast the whole week or they're going to come back. Some teams choose to stay out there the whole week. You know, they were in San Francisco, now back in LA this week. We'll see if they go back and forth or if they stayed out there. Listen, I'm going to move it to 3.5 and a wraparound teaser and take the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins will play much better this week. The Chargers are a team they can handle. And like I said, the Charger offensive line is too beat up. They cannot protect Herbert and they can't run the ball. And the Dolphin offense will play better this week. Tua will play better. So I like the Dolphins in a wraparound teaser plus 3.5. That's pick number 11. Fins up. Pick number 12. This is the Monday night football game with the New England Patriots at -2 against the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are coming off a bye. Patriots down to 6-6, lost to Buffalo, and they look miserable offensively. Miserable offensively. And I'll tell you what, Mac Jones is taking a step back. He's taking a step back. We all loved him when he first came out. He played really well for most of the year last year. He's taken a little step back, and so is that offense. We'll see about Mac Jones. We'll see about, the backup, who they like to. I don't know about either one of them. But Mac Jones has definitely taken a step back, and he was all over the coaching staff. He didn't like they were running the ball too much. He wanted to throw it more. But that offense for New England, not great. Mac Jones, a little step back. I don't want to write him off, but he's been a little shaky this year. A little shaky. As far as this game, I'm going to move it to 8 and take Arizona. Home team on Monday night, getting 8 points. New England's offense is not that good. I think Arizona will definitely be in this game, so I got to love them with 8 points. That's pick number 12. And pick number 13, the Thursday night football game, which, obviously I don't bet Thursday night football, but I'll go over it with you here. Las Vegas Raiders -5.5 against the LA Rams in Los Angeles. Rams down to 3-9, lost to Seattle. Played hard, could have won the game, but fell short. It's been just a miserable year for the Rams coming off the Super Bowl. Ton of guys out. They did play hard yesterday, could have won that game. Vegas, they're up to 5-7, come back and beat the Chargers. It was kind of the same story, as last week. Vegas fell behind Arizona after Carr threw the interception, and then came rallying back. Same thing here. Carr throws a bad interception, Chargers return for a touchdown, but then Vegas dominates the rest of the game. Vegas has won 3 in a row. They're up to 5-7. I told you at the beginning of the year, Vegas had talent. They should have been playing better. They are picking it up now, but it's too little too late. Too little too late. But maybe they can close the season. Maybe they can get to a winning record. This should be a carnival atmosphere on Thursday Night Football because you got the Raiders going back to Los Angeles. And the Rams have had a terrible season. This should be a carnival atmosphere. This should be a ton of Raider fans in the stadium. Ton of Raider fans. And it should be one of those carnival atmospheres. Raider fans, Ram fans. You know, the Raiders have a history in LA. So it should be that type of atmosphere. I wouldn't go anywhere near this game. If I had to pick it, and if you asked me who I thought was going to win, I'd say the Raiders. They've won 3 in a row, and the Rams are 3-9. But I would stay away from it myself, and I don't like betting Thursday Night Football. Just win, baby. So that is pick number 13. You're all caught up. You're all set for week number 14. Thanks as always for the support. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I guess I should have said 6 teams are on a bye, too. Atlanta on a bye, Chicago on a bye, Green Bay on a bye, Indianapolis, New Orleans, Washington, they're all on a bye this week. So you have 6 teams on a bye. But once again, stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. Thanks as always for the support. 2 more shows to go. Enjoy the games. Take care.